What?
Hi, interweb. It's KJ and
Maryann. Oh, here I am.
we're back already. You haven't had to wait long because this is the update I so wanted to bring. Because here's what I didn't know. When we did our little live on tape from the mall segment featuring Jonathan and Maryann, I did not know Maryann had never been in a Yankee Candle store before. Well, you'd been there with me, but you'd never shopped.
It's true. I was
yourself.
purely just there to watch.
But that time she was a participant, and I started hearing stories from her about what it was like being a first-time Yankee Candle owner, and I thought, this sounds like internet-worthy discussion.
Hopefully you'll think so too.
Get ready for 20 minutes of awesome!
Let's try to keep it to 20 minutes.
So, Maryann,
Yes.
I know that you bought... Well, I don't need to go over what I know what you bought. Tell me,
we all
what
saw
was
it.
it like bringing home your Yankee Candle? What happened?
Well, yeah, I have to say, I had fun picking out the candles. I was excited about them, but it wasn't until I brought them into my home that I kind of realized how amazing they were. Because I've always had candles burning in my house because I want it to smell nice. But this was my first time with Yankee Candles and knowing that there were rules about how long you could burn it. And
Rules that I've established.
yeah, and having an aluma lid on top so that so it doesn't smoke and so that it burns evenly. And I was kind of like being a first time parent. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay, we're committed. We're in this. We're gonna treat these well. They're worth it. And so it was so exciting when I would come home, and the first thing I would do when I would come in the door was light them. And I would watch them for a little while. I would watch the flame, and it was beautiful, and it smelled good. And I had one in my bathroom and one in my living room, and I would go and check on the one in the bathroom, even if I didn't need to use the bathroom, to see how it was smelling and how it was doing, and if it was starting to get the layer of hot wax. And
The full circle pool.
yeah, and I would work with it if some of it was stuck on the edges, like KJ told me to.
What did you use?
So I had some kitchen scissors,
Okay.
which now smell like harvest, which
Because
is really
here's the
exciting.
thing, I have a special pair of scissors that's just my candle maintenance scissors, which is not to trim wicks, it's just to fold wax on the edges down. Or sometimes if I do a crazy, like, putting a match next to the wick, which I haven't been doing lately because I want to just trust that the wick will burn.
Right. And I was trimming my wicks really religiously because they told me to in the store, and I should have listened to KJ because it didn't help the pool of wax all around happen.
Yes, because they say always keep it at like 1/4 of an inch.
Right.
But that's not enough wick to get a strong enough flame to melt the wax, and then you get the tunneling thing. And I think they're telling you that so they don't want the smoking wick to happen, but it kind of happens on its own.
Yeah.
Mine often gets like a wick flower of crazy black crunchy, which gives you great flame strength, but also creates a pool of ash. Which, you know, sometimes I'll pull that off. Sometimes I'll leave it.
Yeah.
Because I want that hot pool of wax to burn. Okay, so you learned not to trim.
Yes, I learned not to trim, and I just loved them. And like multiple times a day, I would go to my unburning Yankee Candles, the 2 others that I bought, Autumn Wreath and Holiday Sage, and I would smell the lids like a crack addict. Like, it was bad because I was so excited for when I could start burning them because I would just go and smell them, and I think my cat's worried about me. But anyway, I have an addictive personality.
Okay.
It's true, but I got it. Like, I realized these were unlike any candles that I'd ever owned before, and I loved, like, I had a Saturday where I lit them right when I woke up, and I knew I didn't have to leave all day, and I needed to go grocery shopping, and I was like, no, because we have to keep the candle burning, and it was
I've been
wonderful.
known to leave them while I go to the grocery store.
Yeah. Well, you don't have a cat.
I don't.
So that's what I worry about is him, with his fat ass knocking one over. So yeah. Exactly. So anyway,
but I kind of freaked you out though. From what you said, my statements about never burn them for less than 3 hours because that's the best bet of getting a full melt. You took that a little farther or a little seriously.
Some nights I wouldn't have been burning it long enough because I would have gotten in too late, but I'd really want to burn it because it was like a compulsion. And so I'd be like, well, I'll just bring them I'll carry them in from the kitchen and the bathroom, and I'll bring them into my bedroom, and I'll set them on the bookshelf, and I'll let them keep burning even after I've gone to sleep. Because I hope my mom's not watching this. Because I'd be like, I'd wake up if something was happening because I'm in there. So technically they're still being attended. And
they're in a jar.
They're in a jar. And I'd wake up in the morning and they would have been burning all night. And I'd be like, it's okay. It's fine. Or I'd wake up at like 4 a.m. and blow them out. And sometimes the light flickering would keep me awake. So I'd wear like an eye cover so that they could keep burning. I really never wanted to burn them for under 3 hours. And then KJ came over and, talked me down. And I was kind of like, okay, you don't have to burn them every night.
A little intervention.
Even if you want to. If you're not going to be up for that late, just leave them. Just save them for later.
Don't light them.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a race. But I think I felt it was because I wanted to get to Holiday Sage and Autumn Wreath so bad that I was
you know what
like,
you do? If you're anxious to start a new flavor, just put the other one away till next year.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Mm-hmm. Though my harvest was kind of disappointing because it wasn't smelling like anything except when I was right over it.
I accidentally bought water lilies one year. I just pushed through.
I'm loving mandarin cranberry.
Ooh,
that's the right name, right? Mm-hmm. I've called it orange pomegranate. I've called it so many
Mandarin
things.
orange.
Mandarin orange. It is. I have to look at it. It's mandarin cranberry. And I really liked it, but I had only bought, if you remember, I only bought one Illuma lid because I was feeling cheap.
Because they're like $12 or something.
Yeah, which just felt like a lot. And I was like, only buy one.
But they're worth it.
But yeah, because it gets the black, I don't know if you can tell, the black rim.
Did you notice I wiped it clean when
I
visited?
You should. I went into my bathroom after I taken her home, and she'd wiped it out. Which she told me you could do, but she'd done it for me. And I really loved how it smelled in my bathroom. It was really strong. And yeah, I just loved having it in there. I would definitely burn it other places. Again, it reminds me of the Body Shop. Love it. I'll be sad to see it go.
It's an old yeast smell.
It's an old yeast smell. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just the right amount of citrus and sweetness for me. It's not too sweet. Anyway, so I'm loving that. And I finished my harvest. Oh, but anyway, Illumalids. So I only had one Illumilid, and I used it on harvest because I treasured harvest more, and I was like, it's in the kitchen. I want it to burn really well. And so I was like, where can I find a knockoff Illumilid so I don't have to go to the Yankee store or buy one online and pay for shipping and stuff like that? And so I looked at Fred Meyer, I looked at Target, I looked at all these places that sell candles and sell jar candles, knockoff jar candles, but sell them. And finally I was at Michael's, not buying Christmas decorations because it's way too early for that. Other stuff, and they have a bunch of candles, not Yankee, but they have a ton of candles, and they have these candle jar holders, which I was going to buy you one of. It was diamond encrusted. It was these massive, it looked like a crown, but it was for putting your jar in.
I don't understand jar holders. It's in a jar. It's in a jar already. I would have loved that.
And it looks, but it wasn't on sale, and because it was knockoff jars, they looked a little bit smaller, and I was like, if I buy you this as a joke and it doesn't even fit your jars, it'll just look weird. Yeah, so next time. But while I was looking frantically for Luminids, and then I found one in the clearance department, and the red and green ones were clearance. Got some, yeah, it's interesting. It's not as pretty as the one I got at Yankee, but I was like, great, my kitchen Yankee jar will finally have an Illumilid and it'll burn fine. And I was like, yep. Oh, yeah.
Really?
There's little, like...
Shut up. Oh my gosh, there's little... what? And you can't even... There's little...
What do you call that?
Detractors. F-uppers.
Yeah. Yeah, and I only paid $3 for it. But so what I figured out is that if you get it just right on all the levels... Nope, I don't have it. I'm not even going to try. Because if you just put it down there, it does this.
The filthy bastards.
It's just like, no, if you hadn't done that, it would just sit a little lower, and it would be fine.
But that's why they put them there.
Yeah, it was probably because Yankee has a patent on not having those in there.
They do.
Oh. Anyway. Yeah, that was the thing from earlier. Yeah. Do you have a thought? Do you have something to say?
You need Illumilids. I mean, you just burning the jar without. The candle flickers like a crazy person because they flicker, and it gets smoky, and yeah. And I don't really need to say anything more about Illumilids. Well, the versions that I have,
those are awesome.
Mine are the older ones that just sit on top of the jar, but now they're making them more like this, where they sit around. They probably work better. But yeah, I never understand, like, how big the hole should be or what.
Because it varies.
It varies drastically. But they make a big difference. So here's the big thing. I want to know.
Yes.
What happened?
So,
what happened?
When we were going to go to the store, to the Yankee Candle store, I told my sister about it, and she's getting married, and she was like, oh, I would really love a Yankee Candle if you don't want all 4 in the buy 2 get 2 free jar thing. Like, I would love one. And I was like, oh, what smells do you like?
Who wouldn't want 4 for this?
Anyway. I wasn't sure yet, because I didn't know. I was like, yeah, it's candles. 3 will probably be plenty. And then it totally wasn't. They became my children. So there's a bridal shower coming up for her, and I hadn't got her a gift. And she had said she wanted to register for them, but her fiance was worried that they were...
Bed Bath & Beyond.
At Bed Bath & Beyond, which is where she's registered. And so I remembered that that's where I grew up knowing about Yankee Candles, was seeing them at stores like Bed Bath & Beyond. And I was like, great, I don't have to drive up all the way to the Yankee Candle store. I'll go to Bed Bath & Beyond and see what they have. And I went on their website to look to see if they had, like, a decent selection, which now I consider I know what a decent Yankee Candle selection is. And, you know, and then I'd show up. So I show up at Bed Bath & Beyond, and I go in, and they're back by the stools, like counter stools, like kitchen table stools, and the candles are together. And they have some knockoff ones. But they kind of have a wall that sort of looks like a Yankee Candle store.
Are the knockoff ones like Colonial Candle?
Well,
or
no,
like
most of them were in
Yankee
jars.
Candle?
Yankee? Is that a thing?
No, it should be.
Oh my gosh, it's like Sensi, which is a thing. But yeah, and we didn't even look at them. But they had the like autumnal ones at the end, and I looked at what they had, and they had autumn leaves and Nature's Paintbrush.
Notes on this, FYI.
And yeah, Nature's Paintbrush, lots of cinnamon smells, not very many pumpkin smells, not as many as I thought, and autumn wreath. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get her autumn wreath. But I looked at the other scents they had. I thought about getting the Mountain Lodge because they like to go outdoorsy, but it smelled like cologne. It was really bad.
It's car air freshener, man.
Yeah. But there was lots of beach smells, lots of floral smells. But it was weird because there was 3 like walls of them. So there was a good amount, and I just stood talking on the phone to my dad and going like this while I was talking to him. And then I realized I was trying to smell the tumblers, not the jars, for the scent. And I was like, why can't I...
Were you smelling the lids of the tumblers?
No. So I was smelling the candles of the tumblers. And I was like, Maryann, you know better than this. Jonathan and KJ told you that the tumblers do not smell as strongly when you're burning them, and that you should never smell the candle. You always need to smell the lid. So I realized I was being distracted, got off the phone with my dad, and got down to serious smelling business. And I spent like a half hour there, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get an autumn wreath, because I really like it. She said she wanted something kind of fall smelling. I know you guys don't love it. I really like how appley it is. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
You said it's like Glade apple cinnamon.
Which I love.
That's good.
Glade's apple cinnamon.
That's good.
Oh. That's what I always used before I had Yankee, and people always thought it smelled really nice.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think she'll really like that. And then I went back and forth about what size I should get her, and if I should get her a tumbler, or if I should get her a jar. I ended up buying her a small jar. Medium jar. Oh, and the prices are the same from what I can tell.
$14.99?
Oh.
$19.99.
No, this was... Oh. Is that how cheap it is? The
no, it's not. It's like
$22.99
yeah, it's
for
ridiculous.
This.
Never
which
buy a
is
medium.
ridiculous. But I was like, I don't want to buy her a huge one if she doesn't really like it. So I bought her a medium-sized one.
Delicious.
And because it looks less like, a massive mason jar. It looks more, it's more candle size for non-serious Yankee Candle people, which I don't know if she is yet. Maybe this will convert her.
Over here.
Put it over there. So I'm like, all right, I've made my decision. Do I need any more? And I was like, well, I really loved Balsam and Cedar and Home for the Holidays, and I smelled them at Katie's house last time I was here in her shelf, and I was so jealous because I think, did Jonathan buy Balsam and Cedar?
Yeah.
Or he loves it? Yeah. Both of you guys had gotten that, and I was like, oh, gosh, I still really love my choices, but I really wish I'd bought those, and maybe someday I'll go back to the store, because clearly they don't have it here. So I'm walking around the store, and I'm like, I'll just do a loop, and then I'll go and pay. And then I saw their Christmas display at the front of the store. And sure enough, there's a wall of Yankee stuff. And I was like, oh. And so I go over, and it's like the same price. It's still $25.99. It's still pretty expensive. And I'm like, gosh, should I buy them now? Should I wait till I'm at the store? I did have a 20% off coupon from Bed Bath & Beyond. And then I saw that they had these, 2-packs. Because they don't seem to have a buy one, get one 50% off, which they have at the store kind of all the time, right? So they had these buy two for $30, 2 large jars. And I was like, $30? That's pretty good for 2. But the only ones they had were Harvest and Autumn Leaves, which I was like, no, even though I liked Harvest, I don't like Autumn Leaves. And I don't need more. Yeah. What is the wrong with Autumn Leaves?
It's moldy.
Yeah.
You're walking outside, stepping on leaves, but then you're taking just that smell indoors, so it's like old shower.
Yeah.
They're burning it upstairs in my house, and it's like body odor a bit.
Oh. But the Christmas ones they had, which were in special Christmas boxes.
Was it Christmas cookie?
No. So it was Home for the Holidays with the crappy label, but Home for the Holidays with sparkling pine. And I was like, I could love sparkling pine. That sounds nice. And it has a really pretty label with kind of snowflake embellishments.
Not sparkling cinnamon, which is good.
Because a red and a green one I think is what they were going for. So I pull it out and I'm like, that's okay, but it really wasn't. It felt like a pine air freshener. Like it was nowhere near as good as is it Holiday Bayberry? Or Balsam and Cedar.
Or Mistletoe.
And Mistletoe was there too, but separate. And I was like, Home for the Holidays and cheap sparkling pine. But I was like, but I don't really want that. And all the duo sets were those 2 flavors. All of them. Pre-made. Because it wasn't when you go to the grocery store and they're like, buy 6 bottles of wine and it's cheaper. Here's your wine thing. Fill it up with whatever you want. It was pre-chosen. And I was like, what if I went up there with a green candle in there, but the barcode's on the outside, so they'd have no way of knowing. So I spent a half hour being like, love sparkling pine, learn to love it, it's fine, it's cheaper, and I'm sure it'll be great. And I was like, no. So I was alone in the Christmas section. And here it is. Here's, so I have them right now. So I popped open the bag.
Bad girl.
And I took out, you bad girl. I took out sparkling pine. And off the shelf, I grabbed a Balsam and Cedar, and I slid it into my box set and closed it up. And I felt so nervous in line. I was like, oh, I'm just covering this. And I started chatting her up right away. I was like, hey, how's your night going? How's it going? Yeah, these candles are so great, right? Yeah. And she's like, oh, yeah. And doing my coupons and putting it in the bag. And as I left, I was like, which I got home and I looked at the actual box and it doesn't say anywhere enjoy sparkling pine with your Home for the Holidays. Yankee don't give a shit. But I thought they might, and that Bed Bath & Beyond would check to make sure. Because, I thought maybe, everybody likes Home for the Holidays, so they're definitely going to give a crap one in there with it. Most 2 for deals are that are, pre-chosen. But, I felt like such a rebel. So, I don't know if there was anything else I had to say. Amazing. There was.
Okay. Getting close.
I'm getting close. So, when I got home, I, of course, wanted to smell my new candles like I always do. And I went like this. Oh, and I loved it. And then I smelled it for the rest of the evening. And I was like, that's funny. I'm not burning it, why am I smelling it? And then I looked in the mirror
Oh!
and saw the wax that was on my nose.
Is there any on me?
No. That was on my nose from smelling the lid that had some of the Home for the Holidays wax on it. I loved it. I'm obsessed. I might now, when I can't burn the candle, I might take a little wax, put it on my nose, and then I get to smell the candle even though it's not burning.
Oh my gosh. You're a crazy person.
I know. I'm just rubbing it into the pores. Rubbing it into the pores. If I have lots of zits, I'll be like, whatever. There's zits that smell like Christmas.
And with that, I thank you for joining us on today's What Yankee Candle Means to Me. I'm so glad I've done this to you, Maryann.
Me too.
I will say, it's pretty awesome now that when I'm not at home burning my Yankee candles, I'm like at Maryann or Jonathan's where they're burning theirs. It's awesome. Merry Christmas. We'll be back for more. Bye.
Bye.